Have you ever wondered what would happen if a supervolcano were to erupt today? Just imagine the sheer power and chaos that would ensue. Supervolcanoes, these sleeping giants, lie quietly beneath our feet, capable of producing eruptions on a scale that could dwarf any eruption we've seen in human history. The term supervolcano might sound like something out of a science fiction novel, but they are very real and present a genuine threat to life as we know it. The impact of such an eruption would not only be local, but global. We're talking about a possible mini ice age, widespread famine, and significant loss of life. The thought is indeed terrifying, but it's not all doom and gloom. With knowledge and preparation, we can improve our chances of survival. Understanding the threat is the first step to getting prepared. Preparation is key, and in this video we'll discuss how to prepare for such a cataclysmic event. First, we must understand what a supervolcano truly is. A supervolcano, as the name suggests, isn't your average volcano. It's a geological titan, a behemoth of nature that dwarfs the volcanoes we're more familiar with, like Mount Vesuvius or Mount St. Helens. A supervolcano is defined by its ability to eject a staggering 1,000 cubic kilometers or more of material in a single eruption. To put that into perspective, that's over 240 times the volume of material ejected by the 1980 eruption of Mount St. Helens. Unlike regular volcanoes, which are typically cone-shaped mountains with a crater at the top, supervolcanoes don't have a distinctive shape. They form when magma rises from the mantle to create a large reservoir in the Earth's crust. This magma reservoir grows over tens of thousands of years, causing the crust above it to bulge and form a large and wide depression known as a caldera. Now, let's consider the potential consequences of a supervolcano eruption. The immediate impact would be catastrophic, with widespread destruction within a radius of hundreds of kilometers. But that's just the beginning. The real danger lies in the aftermath. The eruption would eject vast amounts of ash and sulfur compounds into the atmosphere. This volcanic ash could block out sunlight, causing global temperatures to plummet and triggering what's known as a volcanic winter. Crops would fail, wildlife would perish, and our way of life, as we know it, would be irrevocably changed. In essence, a supervolcano eruption is one of the most devastating natural disasters imaginable. The last time a supervolcano erupted was about 74,000 years ago, when the Toba supervolcano in Indonesia exploded, plunging the Earth into a volcanic winter that lasted perhaps a decade. Now that we've understood the magnitude of a supervolcano eruption, we can begin to prepare. Scene script. Preparation for a supervolcano eruption begins with knowledge and planning. Knowledge is power, and in this case, it could very well be the difference between life and death. Staying informed about volcanic activity is not just for geologists or survivalists, it's for everyone. Tune in to reliable sources of information, such as the United States Geological Survey or the Volcano Discovery website. They provide real-time updates on volcanic activities worldwide. Now, on to planning. Having an emergency plan is critical. This isn't your average thunderstorm or power outage we're talking about, it's a supervolcano. The plan should include the safest escape routes from your home, a designated meeting point for family members, and a list of essential contacts, including local emergency services and nearby shelters. Communication is key during any disaster, so ensure that everyone in your family understands this plan. Practice it regularly to make it second nature, because in a real emergency, panic can cause people to forget even the most basic procedures. Next, let's talk about the emergency kit. This isn't just your run-of-the-mill first aid box, it's a survival kit. It should contain enough supplies to sustain you and your family for at least 2 weeks. This includes food, water, medical supplies, a battery or crank-operated radio, flashlights, and extra batteries. Don't forget personal items like medication, glasses or contact lenses, and important documents. Also consider including a dust mask and goggles to protect your respiratory system from volcanic ash. And remember, volcanic ash is not like the ash you find in your fireplace. It's tiny, jagged pieces of rock and glass, and it can wreak havoc on your lungs and eyes. Lastly, let's not forget about our pets. They're part of the family too, so make sure you've accounted for them in your emergency plan and kit. Remember, the key to survival lies in preparedness. So stay informed, have a plan, prepare your kit, and practice. It's a lot to take in, but with the right mindset and determination, you can prepare yourself and your loved ones for the unthinkable. A well-stocked emergency kit can be a lifesaver in a supervolcano eruption. In a world where the unthinkable can happen, we must equip ourselves with the necessary tools to face adversity. An emergency kit is not just a bag filled with items, but a chest of survival tools that can make the difference between life and death. Let's dive right into what your emergency kit should contain. First and foremost, food and water. Aim to pack a 3-day supply of non-perishable food items. Think canned goods, granola bars, and dried fruits. Remember, you'll need a can opener for those canned goods. As for water, the general rule of thumb is 1 gallon per person per day. Next, medical supplies. A basic first aid kit is essential. This should include bandages of various sizes, antiseptic wipes, tweezers, medical tape, and a digital thermometer. Don't forget any prescription medications you or your family may need. Now let's talk protective gear. A dust mask can shield your lungs from ash particles, while goggles can protect your eyes. It's also wise to have sturdy gloves to protect your hands from hot surfaces and sharp debris. A good pair of walking shoes is also a must-have in case you need to travel on foot. And then there are the other essentials. A battery or hand crank radio for receiving updates, flashlights and extra batteries, a whistle to signal for help, local maps in case you need to find alternative routes, a multi-tool with a knife and other useful implements. Lastly, personal items, important documents like passports, birth certificates and insurance policies, cash in case digital payment systems are down. And don't forget personal hygiene items like toothpaste, soap and sanitary wipes. Remember, it's not just about packing these items, it's about regularly checking and updating your kit, replacing expired items, and ensuring it's ready to go at a moment's notice. With a well-prepared kit, you are one step closer to survival. In the event of a supervolcano eruption, evacuation may be necessary. Now, this is not a phrase anyone wants to hear, but it's an essential part of preparing for the unthinkable. Having an evacuation plan is not just about knowing where to go, it's about knowing how to get there, how to communicate, and how to prepare for different scenarios. Imagine for a moment a supervolcano erupts, the skies darken, ash begins to fall, and panic ensues. In this chaos, having a clear evacuation plan can make the difference between confusion and calm, between danger and safety. The first step in your evacuation plan should be knowing your evacuation routes. Consider all possible paths away from the danger zone, taking into account traffic, road conditions, and other potential obstacles. Always have a primary route and at least one backup route. Remember, in an emergency, the most direct path may not always be the safest or fastest. Next, let's talk about communication. In the midst of a supervolcano eruption, communication networks might be disrupted. To stay connected with loved ones and emergency services, consider alternate means of communication. Satellite phones, for instance, can be a reliable option. Also, establish a meeting point in case you get separated. Now, on to preparing for different scenarios. A supervolcano eruption can present a variety of challenges. You might be at home, at work, or even on the road when it occurs. For each scenario, consider what you'd need, where you'd go, and how you'd get there. Think about other factors too, like weather conditions or the time of day. If it's night, do you have a reliable light source? If it's winter, do you have warm clothing and supplies? In the face of a supervolcano eruption, a well-thought-out evacuation plan can be your lifeline. It can guide you through the initial chaos, keep you connected with your loved ones, and help you navigate the challenges that come your way. Evacuation plans are crucial, but they are not the end of our preparations. Surviving a supervolcano eruption is just the first step. Recovery is a long-term process. The aftermath of such a colossal event could be as challenging as the eruption itself. We're talking about considerable changes to climate, environment, and even our daily life. Imagine a world cloaked in volcanic ash where sunlight is a luxury and the air is filled with grit. Food, water, and other necessities become scarce. The world as we know it takes a turn we never imagined. But it's not all doom and gloom. The human spirit is resilient, and with proper long-term preparations, we can bounce back. Stockpiling supplies, learning new survival skills, and fostering a community of like-minded individuals can make all the difference. Mental resilience is equally crucial. It's about maintaining hope, staying determined, and keeping our spirits high even in the face of adversity. With the right preparations and mindset, survival is possible even in the face of a supervolcano eruption.